Crypto Army, what up? DeFi Army, what up? It's your boy J Raw. We back at it again. And today's freestyle, we're gonna talk about stuff I've been seeing lately. I've been watching some shows lately, and one of the things I was watching was New Edition's story. So their sort of life story played out. They did like a 3-part series on it, and just some of the things I learned from it and how it applies to Safemoon, DeFi as a whole. So I've seen the show before. It's a really good story. And one of the things about their story was that they had one of the worst deals in record industry history. And that's saying a lot, because the record industry is really shady. But next to TLC, their deal was one of the worst when they were kids. And I think their deals only made a little better than TLC's because they were able to later on make albums to where they could actually make money. And they're still making money today, touring and things like that. And people got jokes about how Bobby Brown can't dance no more. He can't keep up with the steps. But I'm glad to see them still out there making money, doing well. But I watched the first episode again a few days ago, and just what stood out to me is one of the particularly egregious things about the many egregious things with their deal wasn't really that, yeah, it's terrible. They got $500 and a scooter for an album that went multiple times platinum. All they had to show for it was $500 and a scooter. But I think what makes it worse, like, that's horrible. But I think what makes it worse is, on top of the 500 and a scooter, they did a kind of a world tour as children, which is dope. They got to travel the world. London, Germany, perform everywhere. And for that world tour, because the way the deals are structured, the money they gave you, just the 500 they gave them, was a loan for the album and tour expenses. So guess what? When they did that tour, all the show money, all the traveling money, the hotels, the flights, the food, everything was a loan that they had to pay back. So when they got back from the tour, they got a paycheck of $1.80. True story. $1.80 for a world tour for a multi-platinum album. What's that got to do with Safemoon? Well, I'm about to explain it. I'm about to tie it together. We look to, so oftentimes, too many of us, look to the government and government regulation to save us from the big bad guys. But guess what? A part of a government regulation is that you can create a contract. You can create a bad faith contract, just so long as it can be challenged. But you can create it. It's not illegal. None of what happened to New Edition as children. Those children were robbed when they're adults now, but when they were kids, they were robbed. None of that was illegal. You know why? Because the American government says, do what you want. If someone has a problem with it, they can sue. And then they can win that way if they're right. Which, if they could afford it, they would have sued and they would have won, because it was a bad faith contract, right? I mean, you do a multi-platinum album with making, that album probably made $200 million. To walk away with $502 after a world tour and a scooter is highway robbery. So they would have won the case. But guess what? They grew up in Boston. They were poor. most people can't afford to sue and fight in court. And companies know that, so they will draw out the litigation because they can afford to defend themselves in court. So they'll draw out the litigation, and guess what? If you win, they can appeal, and you're just getting broker and broker while you fight them. Well, that's what it has to do with Safemoon, guys, and just DeFi as a whole, but mainly Safemoon. And the attack on crypto. The government is not trustworthy in every single area. And I think that's something we got to come to grips with. And it doesn't mean that, I know something that, is going to break the case in Safemoon. All I'm saying is, let's let it play out. Let's see it play out. And more importantly, let's understand that really we can trust when things are going straightforward. And so if things are going straightforward, we can trust it, right? Jaywalking. You walk across the street, red light, okay, fair enough, you got me. That's straightforward, right? If things are straightforward on the up and up, we can trust it. But if things are not, we gotta wait and see, man. We gotta wait and see. And let me tell you, the government, a liar, business dealing, especially American government, it's not on the up and up, guys. It's really not. Because again, FD Signifier said this, he had this quote, and I love it. He said, talking about the injustices in NFL business. He said, if the NFL running back is screwed, we're all screwed. And what he meant was, if the government can do this or allow this to happen to an injustice, can happen to millionaire employees, then thousandaire employees are cooked. And that's kind of the case with this. If the government can allow that company, Maurice Starr's company, who signed New Edition initially when they were children, if the government can allow them to do something that cruel and in bad faith on the bet that you can't afford to fight me, in court, what do you think's gonna happen to us guys as employees? My little job, I work as a manager. What do you think's gonna happen to me if my company does something to me? How much more inclined are they gonna be able to bet that, the guy we paying thousands can't afford to fight us? When those kids made millions, and they're like, we're gonna take 99% of it from you, and we're gonna make the bet that you can't afford to challenge us on it. And the initial setup is legal. And then let's get into that. Why is the initial setup legal, and then the challenge is civilly? Because they can't be pursued. They're not even pursued federally over this crap. I mean, they should be in jail for what they do to people, right? What these companies do to people. Some of these corporations do to people. They should be in jail for what they do to people. They only go to jail for what they do to the government. Enron went to jail because they screwed the government and rich people with their false reporting. That's why those execs are in jail. You know what I mean? They're not in jail because they screwed their employees. They're in jail because they screwed institutional investors by manipulating the market with false data reporting. So they're not even tried federally for these things. All we can hope for is civil trials, right? But let's get into it. Why? It's because there is a working class that the government deems deserving. And it's the rich working class. That working class that makes over $200,000 a year. Johnny Manziel literally was a regular working class guy, but looked like a trust fund baby and sold that perception. And the NCAA didn't even challenge it. They respected him because he played the part. Look up his story. He was a hustler, man. He was a hustler, and I ain't mad at that. I can't knock the hustle, but he was a hustler. He was like, yo, I look like a trust fund baby. I'm going to pitch that and make it seem like I'm a trust fund baby, and the NCAA ain't going to mess with me. And he was right. They ain't mess with him. You know what I mean? So it's just, let's keep that in mind, guys. As we are DeFi investors, we are not a part of the class. Most of us, I'm not. Most of us are not a part of the class that the government wants to protect. So even if Safemoon goes down, we should not be cheering, because they ain't doing that for us, man. They ain't doing that for us. If they're gonna let, financial, predators, prey on poor people in the entertainment industry, people that make millions, literally in the New Edition case, they made them millions and they gave them hundreds. If they're gonna let that happen, they're not doing it for us, guys. Like, even on the social justice level, the Baltimore cop scandal, they didn't go down. Those cops didn't go down for messing over African Americans in the community. They went down for overtime fraud. they robbed the city. And so the city said, oh, no. All y'all going to jail. White, black, Euro-American, African-American, whatever, all y'all going to jail. Y'all gonna rob us? Like, I get, planting dope on thugs, but y'all gonna rob us? Oh, nah. Every one of them dudes is in jail to this day. Look it up. We own this city. Look up, like, it's a great HBO documentary, HBO movie, about those cops in Baltimore that was running a fraud, messing people over in the city, planting drugs, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And guess what? They committed overtime fraud. They committed the cardinal sin, not treating the poor wrong, but robbing the city, the government. So listen, guys, the way this applies is, again, the government ain't, until we get into that class, they ain't think about us, man. So we need to stop, many of us need to stop cheering as if the government's coming in to save the day, to save us from Safemoon. No, they not. They think about themselves, man. And those high enough in the working class to those high enough in the working class to maybe move over to the investor class or the corporation class, corporate class, capitalist class. Those are the only people they think about, man. They not thinking about us. And again, the New Edition deal proves it. Because again, nothing about that deal was illegal. Federally. They could sue, but again, corporations all the time make the bet that you and I can't afford to sue. They'll take that chance on the maybe out of 1,000 employees, the 5 to 10 that can sue. They like those odds. Because the money they make off the other 9,000, other 900, they can use to defend against the 5 or 10. The other 995 to 990, they can use the money they make off them to defend themselves against those 5 or 10. And they still gonna try and stretch that out, see if you can go in a long court case. And if you can, oh, my bad. Okay, cool. Here you go. We'll settle. So let's keep our eye on that, guys. Government not think about us, so we gotta think about ourselves in this way, financially, right? I mean, governments are beholden to their citizens in just a simple law and order way. Not law and order as in enforcing against poor people, but in a sense of just basic laws. You call the fire department, your homes, you got a fire in your home, yeah, they're obligated to come and, put the fire out. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about financially. The government, the American government is protecting the capitalist class and the upper working class. That's who they're thinking about. And Safemoon, Coinbase, Binance are all challenges to that structure. Save the Kids, which is another scam done by American influencers, is not a threat because it was an actual scam. So those guys will never be tried. And so, let's keep that in mind, guys. The government in the financial sector is not thinking about us. So let's not cheer if and when Safemoon goes down, or at least Corona goes down. Let's not cheer that. And again, let's also give the man his day in court. Let's see it play out, guys. But that's what I got for today, man. Again, hope you got something from it. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, holla at your boy. So like I said, the main point is, again, that new edition contract was legal. Let me stress that. It was legal to draw up a contract knowingly with people that didn't have a lawyer available to read it and go through it and break down the pitfalls. It was legal to put in the contract that we are giving you $500 and a scooter, and that's a loan on all of the business expenses for the album, making it, creating it, the tour, ticket sales, everything. And obviously $500 and a scooter ain't going to cover it, so you either end up in debt. Thankfully they weren't in debt. The fact that they gave them $1.87 meant, you at least covered it. Nonsense, man. All of that was legal. So just remember that when you hear, all these crypto firms are going down. Because again, DeFi investments are commodities. They are not securities. And the Ripple case proved that, but the government got no choice but to continue to fight for the rich. And so they're going to keep, going and going and going. These are basically appeals. They lost the case in Ripple. They're not going to change their mind, and so they're just appealing through enforcement. Oh yeah, you're operating as a security. Weren't you told they weren't securities? Nah, but they are securities. But weren't you told that they weren't securities? Nah, but they are. That's how the government's going, because they gotta protect the rich, the capitalist class. So let's be on the sidelines about this. Let's wait and see. Let's watch. More importantly, at the Right Mindset Show, let's understand that none of this is for us. Holla at your boy. It's your boy J-Rod. Again, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Holla back. Crypto Army, what up? DeFi Army, what up? We out of here.